Beat Barnbrook again in the last few strides after Barnbrook again had looked home and dry. More recently he's finished 9th to See You Then in the champion hurdle. Not a bad run that, and he's been dropped £5 in the handicap since his previous run in a handicap behind Neblin in the Tote Trophy at Newbury. He finished 10th of 21 in that race and looked dangerous for a moment turning into the straight, but they ran away from him, and I think this extra 5 furlongs will suit him well. Ridden by Ronnie Began. That is JIMSINTIME, number 6. Cars drive in to get a position in the centre of the course. They'll have a marvellous view of the Grand National and races over the Grand National fences. There's the Melling Road, the famous Melling Road, which the runners cross on the way to the first of the Grand National fences. You can see those fences going down to Beeches, and in half an hour's time or so we'll be seeing the first race of the year over those famous fences. Timely Star and Mark Pittman missed a race at Newbury last Saturday, although declared overnight. Very doubtful if he'd have been able to beat the impressive winner, Juven Light, over 2 miles, but over 2 miles 5 furlongs. Timely Star, a very consistent horse, should run a good race. He was 3rd to Inlander in the Imperial Cup at Sandown, and always runs consistently. The ground looking in magnificent condition. The jockeys reported slightly on the soft side, just the odd patch, but considering all the rain there's been all over the country, it's remarkably good. Smart in black with the sash, but the one we're going to have a close look at is number 13, MANDAVI, one of Nick Henderson's 2 runners. The other one, Stirabout, is not yet down at the start. MANDAVI is down at the start. Stirabout, Peter O'Sullivan tells me, has been led back to the paddock, so there must be a doubt about him taking part, or maybe there's equipment being checked, but we'll let you know about that as soon as we can find out. Meanwhile, MANDAVI, 2nd to Tigerwood, over 2.5 miles at Lingfield the Saturday before last, 12 days ago, and a very consistent horse. He's won 3 times and been 2nd 4 times, only twice out of the frame this season. Before his 2nd to Tigerwood, he was also 2nd at Windsor. But there is the favourite, JIMSINTIME, ridden by Ronnie Began, who won in the same colours on Jimbaloo, a very promising full brother to JIMSINTIME, who won a novice at Lingfield, and I think he was just coming right. That was a couple of weeks ago, and it looks as if JIMSINTIME from the same stable is in with a favourite's chance here. 12 to 1 Bar, the favourite now. 8 to 1 JIMSINTIME. The runners circling round. I think they're running rather late, possibly because of the doubt about whether Stirabout will be taking part. I don't know if we can pick him up. We'll try and pick him up for you in a few minutes, but he has returned to the paddock. He's not in front of me. He returned up the path towards the paddock. He hasn't actually appeared here, so he must be at the pre-saddling paddock, and I very much doubt if he will be taking part. We're not quite sure yet whether Stirabout's been withdrawn, but I've just heard while I was saying that he has officially been withdrawn. So only 20 runners now. The other non-runner already announced, Mary Jane, and now we're down 220 with the absence of Stir-About. Number 27 is Warry Byrne, trained by Ian Dudgeon. Warry Byrne's a consistent hurdler, but he's out of the handicap at the moment. In other words, he's carrying more weight than the official handicapper thinks he's entitled to. The weights have to go up to 10 stone.
And Emo Forever at 12 to 1. On 14 to 1, Mandavi, Single Cut, Comedy Fair, Bluff Cove and Celtic Time. Newlar is 14 to 1, I beg your pardon, 16 to 1 bar.
Just confirm that on the public address that Stir-About's a non-runner. The 20 runners now being called in. 1 or 2 out of the back, including Master Cone, the starter not satisfied with this lineup at the moment. It's Cat's Eyes nearest to us, bidding for a double for Martin Pipe and Peter Scudamore. Already on the 95 mark this season, Peter. That's Timeless Star, the yellow cap, you can spot that. Battlefield Band, the hoop colours, the sheepskin nose band. Smart in black, pale colours, 1 dark sash. And the starter exhorting him to come up and get into line. 2 mile 5, 110 yards this time. That's Mandavi's turn. And mounting is Rostrom. And surely going to let him go this time.
Get your head back off.
No, he wants the heads back off the tape.
Get your head back. Come on.
They're away. And Master Cone pretty slowly away. So was Battlefield Band. Early on the near side, down flight goes on with Bluff Cove and Singlecut and Mandavi. Seagram on the inside. Then comes Newlar. Behind Newlar is Bell Course. And then Observer Core towards the outside, closely packed up front. Singlecoat going on now from Bluff Coat, then down flight, then Seagram on the inside. Behind them, Newlar, Mandavi, Bell Course, Christensen and Observer Core. Behind them, hot-handed. Master Cone is still the back marker with Battlefield Band also, and Singlecoat, the leader as they come to this. From on the inside, down flight, little between those two. Bluff Cove right up with them, Newlar on the outside, then Seagram, and then Christensen, and behind them Mandavi and MO Forever and Observer Core. They're beginning to swing left-handed now. Down flight on the inside from Bluff Cove and Singlecoat. Then Newlar, Seagram on the inside. Timeless Star up with them and not far behind the leaders, Mandavi and Christensen and Observer Core. Racing to the home turn on the first circuit, and it's Singlecoat and down flight disputing it ahead of Bluff Cove in third. Then on the outside of Bluff Cove is Newlar. Behind them Bell Course and Seagram and Christensen, and then JIMSINTIME and Mandavi, and behind them Observer Core. Singlecoat as they come down to the next. Singlecoat from down flight on the far side, Seagram, then Newlar and Bell Course and Mandavi and JIMSINTIME and Observer Core, and Warry Byrne. And Newlar coming up to join Singlecoat now as they jump this one. Newlar lands with Singlecoat. Just behind them come Bluff Cove. Behind Bluff Cove is down flight, and then on the far side Seagram, and then Bell Course, and then Observer Core. Behind them Mandavi and JIMSINTIME and Cat's Eyes. Passing the winning post on the first circuit, Singlecoat back in the lead from Newlar. Then comes Seagram on the inside, down flight and Bluff Cove and Observer Core. Warry Byrne on the outside with JIMSINTIME on the inner, Christensen with Bell Course. Going out into the country now for a complete circuit. Singlecoat in the lead from Newlar in second. Bluff Bluff Cove down flight. Seagram come next, followed by Christensen. Then Observer Corps, JIMSINTIME, Bell Course, then MO Forever. Behind them, MANDAVI, Warren Byrne, and then Cat's Eyes. Behind Cat's Eyes, Battlefield Band. Behind Battlefield Band, Master Cone making ground from the rear. Celtic Time is now the back marker with Hot Handed. On the far side, they jump the next flight. Single Coat from New Law. Single Coat, a slight mistake there, gets away with it. New Law joins him on the outside. Then comes Seagram behind. Seagram is down flight, who's been prominent all the while so far. Then Bluff Cove on the outside. Behind then Observer Corps and MANDAVI and Christensen. So they run down to the next. New Law, Single Coat, and Seagram on the inside. New Law with a fractional advantage at this flight right over on the far side. From Single Coat and Seagram, Bluff Cove on the outside. Down flight made a slight mistake there. They're beginning to swing left-handed now, and a long run towards the straight. And New Law and Guy Landor have gone to the front. Guy Landor will be riding Lannerai in the National for his governor Stan Mellor. Bluff Cove goes second. Here comes Cat's Eyes in third. Behind Cat's Eyes is Seagram, and behind Seagram is Christensen, and then comes Warrior Byrne. They're racing round into the home straight now, and it's New Law being pressed by Bluff Cove. Cat's Eyes behind Cat's Eyes. Christensen getting closer in fourth. Then Seagram. Then comes JIMSINTIME. Behind JIMSINTIME is Timely Star making ground, and behind him Warrior Byrne. Then Celtic Cone making a bit of ground towards the outside. Celtic Time, I should say, coming down to the third last, and as they do so, it's New Law on the far side. Bluff Cove, Cat's Eyes with the blinkers. Behind Cat's Eyes is Christensen, and then comes JIMSINTIME, and still making ground towards the stand side is Celtic Time as they come down towards the second last. New Law, Cat's Eyes, and Christensen a faller there, and over on the far side it's New Law. Bluff Cove in the centre, Cat's Eyes, Celtic Time still making ground towards the stand side as they come down to the last. Bluff Cove is going to land fractionally in the lead. Is Bluff Cove. Bluff Cove in the lead. Timely Star on the near side. Timely Star, and on the far side, New Law. It's New Law and MANDAVI coming there between horses, and it's MANDAVI finishing the stronger as they race up towards the line. It's MANDAVI just taking it up now as they come to the line. MANDAVI's going to win it. MANDAVI's the winner from Timely Star, with New Law third and four Cat's Eyes. MANDAVI's won it from Timely Star. New Law and Cat's Eyes probably in a photo for third, and behind them came MO Forever and Bluff Cove, who faded, and then Celtic Time. And so the result of the Whitbread Pale Ale Handicap Hurdle: first, number 13, MANDAVI, trained by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Michael Bowlby. Second, number 7, Timely Star, owned by Mr. Ben Smith, trained by Mrs. Pittman and ridden by Mark Pittman. And it's a photo for third place. Photo